This episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in premium quality travel gear, with slim, stylish gear like the Taskin Edge professional laptop backpack for business and travel. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use promo code RNR Take 30 at TaskinSF.com.
Next up on an all-new Rick and Rick.
Is that Burger King and Ronald McDonald in a gay makeout session?
The Fast and the Furious franchise is ready to blast off into outer space.
Oh my God. Plus, Burning Man lights up social VR and a whole lot more.
And it all starts right here, right now.
On the one show that hits everybody like a ton of Ricks.
And everybody rules the world.
Welcome one and welcome all to another sensational new episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World. I'm Rick Matheson and I am joined, as always, by my good friend Daniel Day Kim. Rick Wood. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing great. You know, weather here's gotten better. You know, the breeze came in, took away some of the smoke. I can actually go outdoors again. It's a wondrous thing.
It is incredible. I don't know if I told you this, but my daughter and I went walking last weekend. It was so smoky out from all the fires that we were wearing masks, not because of COVID, but to keep the smoke out of our lungs. It was awful. And you know what has been strange too? Everybody's been bummed out that they can't travel, but for whatever reason, I have been in a totally New York state of mind this week. I was wearing my Midtown Comics t-shirt this morning, and I was saying, God, I really want to go back to NYC. I realized it's been like 3 or 4 years since I've been. And there's a period of time, I'd say like right after my second book came out, where I was going back and forth between LA and New York so much that I was thinking I should just move to one or the other. I love both, but especially New York City, and I can't believe it has been almost 4 years since I've gone. So I am missing the Big Apple.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of when the last time I was there. I think it has been 8 years. I haven't been there in 8 years.
Wow, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I just always love going there. Any time of year, never bug me, especially Christmas time. I loved an awesome city, obviously. For all our folks on the East Coast, at least one West Coaster here is missing the Big Apple in a big way this week. And we're going to kick things off with Rick and Rick Radar Love here. I literally thought you were joking, Rick. So F9, the latest installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, will co-star Ludacris and will take the action into outer space. Can't make this stuff up, folks. What is this? Yeah. What is the tagline? In outer space, no one can hear you snore?
You know, they're pushing this franchise, and to be honest with you, they've all been fun. Yes. So they've got something right with the chemistry, but this one almost sounds like satire. I really couldn't believe it, but like you said, Ludacris kind of dropped some hints around it that, you know, he's gonna be in outer space as part of the movie. And then Michelle Rodriguez was being interviewed just after him, and they kind of asked her about the same thing, and she said, well, you know, I guess the secret's out on that, but no, I'm not going to space. So apparently it's in both terrestrial and extraterrestrial, so we'll have to see how that works. I don't know. They keep pushing the envelope, which is what they have to do. This could be fun. We'll see.
Could you see them racing moon buggies? Now, a couple things. It's directed by Justin Lin. He's a great action director, and I think he has directed 3 or 4, maybe more of these movies. So, they are all fun. I say in jest, it's Snarfest. I always think, oh, brother, I'm not going to watch this one. And then whenever I do, I enjoy it. So I'll end up watching that one as well. What is interesting is it's F9, and I don't know if you know this or recognize it at the moment, but F9 on a Macintosh keyboard opens Mission Control.
I didn't know that. That's neat.
So Xbox is going with a virtual console now. How does that work?
Microsoft's been on a roll lately. They've been bringing out all kinds of stuff, and so Microsoft is bringing out a new version of the Xbox called the Xbox One Series. And there's a Series X and a Series S. One's a higher end, one's a lower end. And one of the features that they've been kind of pushing for a little bit is this idea of streaming games, and so you can get Game Pass for it. And then they decided to take it out of the console and make it work for other things. And with this new launch, they've decided, you know what, we're going to bring it all together. We're going to make everything work together. And so with the new launch, there's going to be this new version of the streaming gaming service, and it's going to be compatible with crazy stuff. So it's not only with their own consoles, but it's going to work with Android phones and iPhones and laptops and tablets and The rumors are
Sweet.
the Microsoft Switch. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff they're making this work with. So they're going to shift from being arguably kind of a producer of games, but only really to showcase their hardware to, they're really legitimately becoming kind of a streaming platform of games, not of TV and things like that, just
Right.
of games. The game will be rendered in the cloud. It will be streamed down to whatever device, like your phone, and your phone will be your display and effectively your game console because it's your
Yeah.
virtual game console in the cloud.
Yeah.
And you can connect a controller, like a Xbox controller, to your phone and play like your phone or your tablet or your laptop was the Xbox.
So you're telling me that Microsoft envisions there is enough revenue to be earned this way that they're okay with it not involving their hardware in all instances, that the platform itself is a lucrative piece of business.
Yeah. So what they're trying to become is just ubiquitous. If it has to do with gaming, it's going to have to do with them. Now, the great thing for gamers here is what that is really pushing for is the idea of crossplay, where it doesn't matter if you're going to be on whatever device. If your friend could be on an Xbox, you're on your laptop, you can play together, right? And how cool is that? Because right
Yeah.
now you have these separate ecosystems. The mobile phone is one, the desktop is another, the console is a third, and so you've got all these popping up, and it makes it very difficult. And then you got your Sony platform and your Xbox platform and your Nintendo platform. What Microsoft's saying is, you know what, we want a piece of all the pies. So we're going to get in on all of it. And to the point where, some of the games, you buy a game for the Xbox, it works on your Windows PC because they just really want to own the mind share. They want to own that space.
Other thing that sounds really cool is everything we're going to be talking about on the other side of this break. So don't go anywhere.
Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our website at rickandrick.com. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com.
Welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World. This is Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten, and it's time for the good, the bad, and the marketing. And first up, BK's Burger King has the hots for Ronald McDonald, and he is not clowning around. According to NotTheBee.com, Burger King Finland has a new online campaign out that shows BK's creepy king character enjoying an intimate lip lock with that all-beef patty of a ginger known as Ronald McDonald to celebrate Helsinki Pride. Now, if these provocative visuals get any steamier, Rick, BK's going to end up with secret sauce spilling out of his sesame seed buns. All I'm saying... I mean, there are too many hold the pickles and I'll have it your way jokes, not enough time.
Oh, man, that was good.
But joking aside, we do commend the campaign at BK for doing this and for Helsinki Pride. I think it's a great way for a QSR to demonstrate its values.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. The only thing, though, is it felt a little like grandstanding to me. Instead of having the attention be about Pride Week, it kind of like said, look at me, look at me, look at me, and pulled the attention away, which I thought kind of did a little bit of a disservice there. Again, like the message, kind of wonder what the strategy was behind this. If it's more about them and less about the Pride Week, I don't know. It doesn't feel as good to me.
I think grandstanding is a good way to describe it in this case. Yeah, it doesn't celebrate Pride that much. It's so much as it is piggybacking on Helsinki Pride. Very interesting.
But again, Burger King goes out with a campaign that surprises us all and dominates the news cycle, which is pretty incredible. They can do this over and over and over again.
What else is going to be getting a lot of attention is Burning Man. This piece that was on LinkedIn Pulse does make the argument for a virtual reality-based experience around Burning Man when you can't be there live.
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting article. This was published by Robert Scoble. And he's been following the VR industry for a while. I've had a chance actually to talk to him about it in the past. And this is a pretty cool implementation, right? So basically, they've taken a construct similar to Second Life, and they've created the whole experience in it. So, everything you'd expect from Burning Man, it's kind of built into this. There are, art exhibits, there are gatherings, there's music, there's all kinds of things. They built it into this virtual world, much like that. But from what I've seen, it was pretty amazing. The only thing I was surprised by was at how little well known it was. I've talked to a few folks, and they just even weren't aware that this was taking place. But according to the article, there was at least 10,000 people logged in.
It is interesting. And I'm looking at the site that Robert Scoble points to that's from CVR, the company that built out this environment. And I've spent enough time, or back in the day, spent enough time in Second Life to know that you can get something like the feel of an event like this in even a more cartoonish virtual environment. I could see where, in a time when we can't do Burning Man IRL, this is a good approach to take.
Absolutely. People are making the best with what we can. And
Yeah.
I'm constantly amazed with the innovation. So I applaud this one. I'm pretty impressed.
What also has a super cool use case is our next segment, because it's going to be time for loaded questions. We'll be right back.
This episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in premium quality travel gear, with slim, stylish gear like the Taskin Edge professional laptop backpack for business and travel. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use promo code RNR TAKE30 at TaskinSF.com.
Welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World. Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten. And it's time to play loaded questions. Question number 1. When it comes to Halloween 2020, how many U.S. households plan to greet trick-or-treaters this year? A, 7, if you include the Francesca family. B, 19%. C, 28%. Or D, 55%. How many U.S. households plan to greet trick-or-treaters this year?
I'm going to guess it's kind of that 1 in 4. So I'm going to guess 28.
You guessed correct. So according to NBC News, 55% of U.S. households greet trick-or-treaters in a normal year, which I thought was kind of low, but just 28% say they will do that this year. For candy brands, it does mean a shift in strategy. So Michelle Buck, the CEO of the Hershey Company, told NBC that the focus may be more on a treat for me. It makes sense because half of all candy is purchased for self-consumption at Halloween. 80% of it is in my household, but apparently other households are popular too. Question number 2. As early as next year, so early 2021, in fact, the CBS All Access video streaming service will be rebranded as A, Star Trek and Stuff, B, Picard Plus, C, CBS Plus, or D, Paramount Plus. CBS All Access is expected to be rebranded as what next year?
I'm going to guess CBS Plus. Everybody's adding plus.
I know, right? Disney Plus, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, in this case, the answer is D. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, Viacom CBS Inc. will rebrand CBS All Access to Star Trek and Stuff. No, just kidding. We'll rebrand CBS All Access as Paramount Plus, in an effort to, quote, establish one global streaming brand, end quote, with expanded programming from Viacom, Paramount, etc. All right, final question. In an effort to compete against TikTok, YouTube has introduced A, MeTube, B, YouTube Shorts, C, YouTube Moments, or D, Quibi. In an effort to compete against TikTok, YouTube has introduced which?
I'm going to guess YouTube Shorts.
You would guess correct. The answer is B. So according to Adweek, YouTube, the original video sharing site, has launched YouTube Shorts, which lets people create videos up to 15 seconds long on their mobile phones, complete with music. It essentially is a version of TikTok. And given YouTube's installed user base, I think it stands a pretty good chance. It could be a big deal for YouTube.
You got to go with the trend, right? Let's see if it works.
All right. Look at the time here, folks. We got to be like bananas and split. Rick Wooten, give us your Twitter handle.
My Twitter handle is @Wooten, WOOTTEN. And what about you, Rick?
I'm at Rick Matheson on Twitter. And you can reach the two of us on Twitter at Rick and Rick Rule, on Facebook at Rick and Rick Rule the World, and on the web at rickandrick.com. Be sure to subscribe to the show and give us a 5-star review, for Pete's sake. It helps others find the show, and it's kind of a win-win situation here, folks. So please, hop to it. Stay safe, everybody, and be sure to keep on coming back to the one show where everybody's name is Rick.
And everybody rules the world.